So somehow we're back, and we keep on saying we're back, but
through popular demand is how I want to put it.
Well, yeah, we've had so many people saying to us, why are we not doing it? The answer is him.
Why?
Well, because he has to go and take care of his dog all the time.
Yeah, here we go.
Then obviously the break and
Fucking schedules us in 3 hours in advance, isn't he? I think it's good planning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Told me at 9 o'clock.
Hi, this is Paul from Strong Too Tight.
Stephen here, hello.
And despite what Stephen's just said, we've been asking to do a podcast for quite some time now. He's never available. My wife is unbelievably busy. I'm the only one that's relatively flexible. But
Why is that?
But it's my fault if we haven't got him up and running.
That's how we like it.
So much has happened in the tennis world over the last 3 or 4 months. Thank you for every single person who has actually gone on to me. Dave back in the UK, Bia, Courtney, I could keep going.
Yeah, loads of people.
Yeah, surprisingly actually.
Yeah, in the UK as well.
Does
that mean we're worldwide?
Well, yeah, I think we've gone international. Obviously, we've got Strong Too Tight UK with Justin running the show over there. God, it's frustrating with him. But anyway.
There's a common theme here.
Yeah.
Yeah?
As long as my Strong Too Tight baby doesn't lose its perspective and you know, I still like it when people speak to me about Strung Too Tight. So
yeah, exactly, it's good.
So we're gonna have a quick talk about Wimbledon because
I'd rather not.
No, we've got to.
I still haven't been. I haven't watched any press conference or anything afterwards.
The Federer press conference was a killer. It's very emotional.
I haven't seen any repeats. I guess begrudgingly, congratulations to Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, Novak Djokovic. Clearly, the three of them are the greatest of all time. You know, I think for me, I don't. You know, we've talked about it quite a lot. You know, we have. So I don't want to get caught up in it. But at the end of the day, they're the three greatest. We're so lucky to be in this era with them because we're never going to see anything like this ever again. And I think if you haven't seen Andy Roddick's
Hall of Fame induction speech.
Thank you, Steve. If you haven't seen that speech, just watch that speech and everything he says is pretty much what I feel and what most people feel.
Classy guy.
Absolute class above. Really, really impressed with what he said. You know, the men's final was incredible. The semi-finals were
even better.
Well, that Federer and Nadal one was a joke. How good it was. I think in terms of the quality of tennis, I think the final was better.
Yeah.
But there is something that can be said about Djokovic is just not as aesthetically pleasing to watch as Federer or Nadal.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunately his biggest problem is that he's just not Federer or Nadal. People love them so much that it might appear that they're hating on Djokovic, and it's very easy to see that and feel that. Sometimes doesn't help himself with a little bit of on-court antics, but people just want Federer and Nadal to win so much that it doesn't matter who they're playing on the other side of the court. Yeah, but Djokovic had that for 15 years, so it's probably quite...
I do feel sorry for him in a way because you said in a previous podcast that you actually think he's going to finish as being the greatest. I agree.
Well, I think he's the second greatest now. Yeah. I don't know if he'll ever be ahead of Roger.
But he's going to break the record.
For sure.
He's going to break the record. He's going to go above 20.
You sent me the... number 1 week's record, and what is he? 62 behind.
He's 62 behind now. He's going to break that as well
easily.
So you know we will be saying that Djokovic is the greatest. It's just that his style of play for me is just not particularly enjoyable to watch.
Well, again, who would you pay to watch? Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic?
Well, if you're Serbian, obviously you'd pay to watch. Well, you wouldn't pay to watch anybody. You'd call somebody up and ask for a free ticket. So, and all the Serbians are on track. Hi Milan. Yeah. Hi Jaksha. Congratulations, Jaksha. You just got married. Commiserations to your wife. Yeah. But she's got to put up with marrying. It's kind of like the Princess Diana thing, but in reverse because she has married Bojan she's married Bojan and Jaksha.
Yeah, good point.
Because
definitely. So yeah, you get both of them with one. Don't you?
But yeah, congratulations to you guys. I'm really, really sad today. Today, Steve sent me a message saying that
maybe that's why you're down a little bit.
I'm more down than I thought it would be because obviously
He's such an What are you going to say?
Peter
now?
McNamara, unfortunately, has passed away today through prostate cancer. He lost his battle with prostate cancer, and I had the privilege for about 5 years to actually play with Peter McNamara during the Legends event at the Wimbledon Dunthorpe Legends event in Manchester.
Didn't know you played with him.
Yeah, I played a lot. I've got photographs with him, and he was just so classy. And when I say classy, he hadn't seen me for around about 15 years. And when he saw me at Dubai Duty Free about 4 years ago, my eyes lit up, and he was like, "Hey there, Paul." I can't do the accent. "Hey there, Paul, mate. How are you?" And he remembered me. And
you are ugly though, so it's easy to remember.
But I'm like 10 times fatter. I'm 10 times uglier, 10 times balder. And he remembered me, and I just it upset me. The reason why it's upset me as well is that one of my first memories of tennis was watching the Wimbledon doubles final between McNamara and McNamee and Fleming and McEnroe. And it was like, as a young kid, a 7-year-old, and you can hear McNamara and McNamee, you kind of think it's cool and whatnot. And I'm sure that they were my inspiration to get into doubles the way I did. So yeah, I'm heartbroken. I was saying to Alicia that to know that this guy is a significant generation past some people like Laver, and he has now lived people like Laver and whatnot. Which I don't want anyone to die, for goodness sake, but it is obviously the one thing that we know is going to happen to all of us. And it's just I'm just
sad. The few times that I've met him in Dubai, he's been so lovely.
He was lovely. Wang.
He's the life of the party as well, the players' party. Whew, the last one, he was star of the show. So yeah, it is very sad. Obviously, send our biggest condolences to his family. Yeah, big sad loss to the tennis world today.
Really, really sad. So okay, so Steve, let's try and ramp it up a little bit and give people something to go on about. Okay, because I'm hoping to be controversial. Equal pay is a joke.
Yeah, I've got to say it's getting out of hand a little bit. Serena is pushing it a little bit too hard, I think.
It's stupid. I don't disagree with equal pay. But you know what, Steve, right?
Well, she keeps saying there's an inequality in the sport. What?
Well, there is an inequality in the sport.
There is one against the men.
Yeah, there is indeed. But you know what, Steve? I last night, because I was doing a bit of research and whatnot, and last night, you know how I like to watch like old videos, etc. on YouTube. It's really good, actually. I was watching two last night. I watched the Jennifer Capriati one.
Classic.
And I watched the Agassi one. These are just like Sports Center, ESPN things. And I watched this Jennifer Capriati one, and she was worth over $5 million at the age of 14 in 1991 or something. I think it was 1990 or 1991. Right. Now then, I go back to that era. Okay, Graf, Selesh, Sabatini, all of that lot moving into the Kornikovas, when it was clear that the girls were probably earning similar, if not more, than the guys. Certainly from an endorsement perspective, they were. Prize money, they probably weren't. But endorsements, with the exception of Agassi, because Agassi kind of was the first blue-eyed boy, should we say.
Yeah, Borg, then Agassi, that was it.
Really, but Borg, didn't really take advantage of it to the extreme. Even people like Edberg, fantastic, handsome guys, Becker. But in terms of endorsements at the time, you have people like Capriati, Selesh, Sabatini, obviously, Graf. All of these girls were probably earning more money than the guys. The simple fact was that the game was far more interesting on the women's side at that period. It really was, because it was more serve and volley in the guys. It was quicker points. It wasn't that great. Edberg, as much as he's a hero of mine, he wasn't as aesthetically pleasing to watch in terms of his ground strokes.
Charismatic as well, isn't he?
So we come back now then to the equality aspect. Do you want to go through the stats of the finals and whatnot? The two finals. Didn't you message me?
Jeepers. So yes, obviously, the total distance run for Serena was 308 meters. I think it was. I think Halep only ran about 380 meters, whereas I know the men's had both run further than that in the first 4 games. So yeah, within 4 games, both men had run further than both women.
Where were we? So we just had to swap because the phone...
technical glitch.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
How we put it into.
So we were talking about the equality thing, and we were saying about the argument is irrelevant that is being used against why there should be equal pay. Let's start with the main one for me, which is there's not equal pay. The ladies from the WTA, they get 25% of the revenue of the whole of the WTA, all the tournaments and everything like that. 25% of it goes to the players for their prize money. The guys was 14%, but actually Victor Pospisil's just posted something which would make you think it was 7%.
No.
Yeah, I think maybe the 7% is actually the US Open, but
let's go in the middle.
But the total is 14. Remember, we've been told it's 14%. So the ladies get a higher cut. So you have to ask yourself then, is that not equality? The ladies are getting 25%, the guys are getting 14%.
Yeah.
Right? So then the next question is, okay, so it's not equal pay, the ladies actually get more. Why are the ladies not getting people on the seats?
I think it's down to a lot of it is the WTA's fault. We mentioned that Halep, I've always felt, so in her post-match speech, which was brilliant,
Outstanding.
it's like, I always thought she was a bit dull. But then you see that and she actually was hilarious, and that made me like her instantly. And then I think about when you look online, WTA, they're only promoting the glamorous pictures and the modelling pictures. They're not actually posting when was the last time you saw an interview with one of the top females? I suddenly realised this. I actually don't even know when it was. I don't care for photo shoots, and it really doesn't bother me. I want to know what people are like behind closed doors. I want to know what people are like, the ins and outs, the actual real personality.
But unfortunately, Steve, we're enthusiastic and passionate about tennis, and this is something which is lost with these people, especially the ones that demand equal pay, who actually don't really know the ins and outs of it. Okay, so for example, we've just said the 14% and the 7%. My argument to this is very, very simple. Okay, get people interested somehow. Now you're targeting the wrong people, it seems. And I'm sorry, but when you have girls, you have people like Kendall Jenner and the Kardashians, Love Island,
Billie
things
Eilish,
like that, as their role models, then there's your problem in itself. Why is it that girls, I haven't got kids, by the way, why is it that girls sway more towards that than incredible role models like Ashley Barty, Serena Williams? Why? Is it because just the way things are going?
I wouldn't put Serena as the best role model, but she is a role model.
I'd rather Serena be a role model than Kendall Jenner.
Well, yeah, definitely. Christ.
You obviously met that Billie Irish guy, Irish girl, whatever it is, with the craziest song.
Billie Irish.
I mean,
But that is a problem that I don't know if it's part of life, society. You definitely see. How can I put it? Girls want to be famous when you're older, whereas I don't think a boy. Part of being famous would be a sportsman or an athlete, and then you look around and you think, how many sort of famous women in sport are there who are someone to look up to?
Well, it's a great time because obviously we just had the Female World Cup football, and that Rapinoe girl. And now again,
and what's she talking about?
You've got it all wrong, Rapinoe. I'm sorry, you've got it all wrong. Are you a role model? You should be, but then the way you're talking, you've become a politician. So now you've switched off most of the female population because they don't give a crap about the politics. I don't give a crap about the politics.
She's the USA team captain, in her award-winning speech back in the UK. In the US, she was talking about there should be equal pay in the men's and women's World Cup. Just to put this in, actually, so she actually got destroyed in American media as well, because I think actually there was one line that the total, all the endorsements for the ladies' final was 14 million, and just on the men's final alone is $574 million for the one match.
Well,
so that's what it brings in.
And again, I mean, ladies football, soccer in the US is huge. It's massive. It's bigger than the guys. Fantastic. Do you know why it's bigger than the guys? because 20 years ago they decided to really pump it as much as they possibly could in the schools, in the colleges. They created amazing leagues and they sold it. When they had, I think they hosted the first World Cup.
So the Janet Jackson missed that penalty or something?
No, that was the main. That was
the main one?
World Cup. Yeah, that was the guys' World Cup. Okay, but they did it and they did a fabulous job. It became huge in the States, huge in North America in general. And yes, women's football is probably more successful than men's football. Men's is catching up, by the way, significantly with the MLS, etc., bringing in these players. So it's going to catch up. But again, the issue for me is, right, get 100 14-year-old girls in a room and let's find out who their role models are. Let's check their Instagrams and let's see who they're following. Because that's the problem. You need to try and get these girls looking up to the Serenas of this world, the Rapinos of this world, not looking up to Billie Eilish,
who sings
about
darkness in her songs. Let's put it out.
Yeah, and things just stupid.
Alicia's thinking, who's Billie Eilish?
No, she likes it.
Oh, really?
But it's things like that that are just, go to the source of the problem. That's the source of the problem, that girls, for some reason, are not looking at sports people as idols. The sporty girls are. So if you're like Bia, you probably don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because you're crazy about tennis, you love it. She's the perfect example of the exact opposite. You go on her Instagram and it's going to be tennis. She's more into it than me.
Do you reckon it's got something to do with image, maybe even body image? Because also your typical athlete is not the size 6 skinny, blah blah blah. It's a little bit more full of figured, stronger, more athletic. I deal with a lot of, I would say older, more women, more mature women who they don't want to seem athletic. They don't want to do the gym too much because they don't want shoulders or stronger legs. I always get criticised for complimenting ladies who say, your legs are looking strong. I get in trouble a lot. I think it's a compliment.
As two guys, we're probably going to get slaughtered.
Yeah,
for even discussing this, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I think I've been coaching now for over 30 years. You've been involved for 20 years. I've seen so many females give up the sport. In particular, I mean, the drop-off rate of females is far higher than guys.
Huge.
It's a joke. I mean, if you look at our TOTS programs, we have more girls than boys by a mile.
Get to 11.
Get to 11, get to 12, 13. They don't want to play anymore. They're not interested. They've got other interests. Now, why?
Yeah.
Why? It can't just be that, looking at Kendall Jenner doing nothing and getting millions for it is the reason why these girls don't want to be a part of it. We know girls who are looking on Instagram and trying to post on Instagram and stuff, trying to become influencers, like we are, but we're doing it because of our love of tennis. But they're not doing it. They're doing it because they want to maybe get freebies, it's
a strange concept which I don't think we quite understand. And I guess the problem is, again, you look at the only real role models and they just go out there and say the wrong things. Like there was that video, and if you saw that Rapinoe of a boy coming up to sign a ball, and she didn't even make eye contact, sign the ball, and then shoot him away.
Yeah, and then Ronaldo hugs and kisses and everything. Yeah. And I hate Ronaldo, but
you see a lot more. And then obviously maybe Serena, who is possibly the only other true world superstar idol. She's banging on about equality and all of these other subjects. And was it Billie Jean King who said maybe focus less on the celebrity and more on the tennis? And her response was, I'll fight for equality till the day I die. Which you can maybe do after your tennis career.
I mean, look, my last memory of Serena was in Abu Dhabi. And to give you an example of why I struggle with Serena, and if somebody like Elton was watching, he would probably even consider playing a racial card on it. It's got nothing to do with that, right?
Yeah,
I was in Abu Dhabi commentating, right? Serena arrived an hour before she was supposed to play, hit on a backcourt. The people were there just for Serena, just to see her. She hit on a backcourt. She didn't let anyone come near her. She played her match where she didn't even try. We won't go into that.
Yeah.
Finished her match and got in her car and left. So literally, people, like hundreds, thousands of people went to watch her, and she gave them nothing. Now, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's where I've lost it with her. I'm less of a Nadal fan, based on that same kind of thing.
Yeah, we've seen them off the court. But at least when they do these exhibition matches and press, at least they have some fun. They get the crowd involved. And I mean, you could say the same thing with Sharapova. Maybe she's been that sort of global superstar, but then obviously with the drugs cheating allegations and obviously the more and more stories of maybe the slight coldness in her personality, which is kind of shone through again, has maybe detracted people away. It's a touchy one. It's difficult because it does seem like we're having a go, which we are. But
I think also that we talk about, from a tennis perspective, we talk about role models that are coaches and stuff. And again, we've been involved in the game for ages. Female tennis coaches, and I will look directly in the camera, female tennis coaches earn more money than the guys do. They're more in demand than the guys are.
Yep.
Seriously. You come down to our place, Habtour, you have a female coach, they will kill it because they are so in demand. Obviously, we're in an Islamic area, so obviously you do have people who specify working with a lady, okay? But
even so,
female coaches are far more in demand than guy coaches. A, because there's so many of them, so many guy coaches, and B, because the female coach can, I'm going to say, understand females a little bit better, and I always hear, oh, I don't want my daughter to play like a lady. I want her with a male coach. Are you having a laugh?
yeah, it's a little rubbish.
Are you having a laugh? So a female can't teach a girl to play like a guy. I mean,
Or a guy can't teach a guy to play, Maresmo Murray.
but in the UK we did this hot shots thing to try and get more girls into sport,
Well,
etc.
Judy Murray's really trying to push hard. She's doing as much as she can for.
But it's not working.
But this is the issue.
It's not working.
Why is it not working?
Yeah. This is what if we had the answers, then we wouldn't be having a conversation with a phone right now.
Yeah, I mean, please feel free to answer.
Yeah.
Why do girls kind of the drop off at 11 or 12 is astonishing. As I could say, is it just that they want to do different things? That maybe their role models change as they get older. Maybe there's pressure, different types of pressure they come onto. Obviously, yeah.
I mean,
I'd love to know.
There must be a peer pressure thing. There must be a peer pressure. Because, if we're saying that most girls are more interested in the fashion and things like that, okay, then it must be a lure. I mean, I can use somebody who I teach, Ash, who definitely is more involved now away from the sport. She used to love it, but now you can see that she's more interested in that kind of thing. Yeah. Will she come back? I think she might. I think she might get bored of the other thing and then come back. But that's the problem, isn't it? That when there's so many girls, I mean, if you say 100 girls, and probably 30 of them by the time they're 13 years old, 30 of them are still probably involved in sport, and that's probably a high number. I would say less than 30%.
Maybe the fact is that there isn't just enough women's coaches. We said then, I mean, there's probably about 10 that I can think of in the UAE. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
Now, maybe there's something in that actually we need to push more on the female coaches side, but then I've never heard of any girls want to get into female coaching.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have obviously because I've been involved in it, but I don't know. It's a really tough one, but like I said, I don't want to lose track of the fact that we're talking about equality within the sport, and I have no problems with equal pay, right? And I use this one. I used this one recently. Okay, if Steve and I, if he grew a vagina, okay,
Could happen.
could, yeah. Maybe you got, okay, but if Steve and I were on a beach and we were selling ice creams, and I sold 100 and he sold 30, should we be paid the same? No. Let's be blunt. No. So if Federer and Nadal and Djokovic, who are significantly winning everything, still, here we are in 2019 discussing the same three people 16 years after.
We'll have this conversation in a year.
Yeah.
I guarantee Djokovic or Nadal will win the first couple of slams.
And that was also something that Pospisil put. He's saying about like the spread, because this is a bigger issue, which I don't want to talk about this, but we're talking about the spread of money. The people who are like 100 in the world, 200 in the world, they're not getting enough, they're not earning a living, blah, blah, blah. Right. Okay. My argument for that would be very simple. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and then who? Who is the one that's putting bums on seats? Sorry, guys, it's Nick Kyrgios. And has he won anything? No!
Yeah.
Okay? So, Is Nick Kyrgios now the stupid one because he's actually earning millions and millions and millions and millions off the back of the fact that he's doing underarm serves, which, by the way, other people are doing.
Yeah.
Bublik now doing it.
Yeah, there's loads, yeah.
So he's earned millions and millions and millions. He knows he's not going to be able to consistently beat Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. How is he going to earn his money? And he's done it. Aren't we all stupid? Because we all fell for it. Okay? So, the ladies, right. Obviously, the tennis isn't really selling it. I'm not suggesting that you go on court naked. I'm not suggesting that you start screaming, shouting, ranting, blah, blah, blah. But come on, make it more interesting. You know, the Halep interview was spectacular. It was lovely. It was funny. It was witty. The problem with the ladies' game is you've got robots walking around, and they're not role models. They're not role models because they don't interact with the fans that got them there, the fans that are there to watch them. How many times do you see like the ladies sort of play to a crowd? What I mean by that is do something great and get the crowd involved. They don't. They look at their stupid team all the time. They don't look at the crowd. They don't get that environment going, that sort of positive energy going, and so no one can relate to them because they're boring. Sorry, they're boring. You said Halep you thought it was boring.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, in Dubai,
because you don't hear from them, you sort of associate the tennis a little bit with them.
Yeah, they're boring. I'll give you another example of something I love to watch, actually. Caroline Garcia.
Yeah.
But she's a robot.
I think a big issue going forward with WTA as well is you look like the future Naomi Osaka 1-on-1. She cannot handle social media or being out there or being in. That's just not her. She can't do it. So then I worry that actually, arguably, the most promising tennis player and start in the women's game is someone who was not going to be promoting things off the court. That's just not. She can't. Like she said, she doesn't want to be number one in the world. She's better. She feels better when she's not number one in the world. And she's happy when she's losing in early rounds of tournaments, so there's no pressure on her. Like, unfortunately, that's the next star saying that.
And I tell you,
it doesn't bode well.
I tell you, WTA, this is a big one.
It's WTA's fault in my
eyes. You have got a phenomenal world number one right now. Okay, in Ash Barty. You've got fantastic. She is an all-court player. She does everything right. She gave up the game just to find her passion, and she came back, and she's world number one. French Open champion, wonderful. Great role model. I asked 6 or 7 people before I just had a session. Could you tell me who the world number one is in women's?
Where's the promotional work? Where's the interviews? Where's the pushing? What's going on? I haven't seen one interview from her.
And her tennis is beautiful.
That's amazing.
Her tennis is beautiful. You know, I'd rather watch Ash Barty than Naomi Osaka, and I like Naomi a lot. Okay, but she's an all-court player. She does things that the others don't do. Play on it. Play on it. Use it to your advantage. Not just put the same old faces, the Bouchards. Bouchard's boring to watch. If you watch Bouchard play, she's boring. She just mishits and tanks everything as hard as she can.
Yeah. WTA have got to do something because at the moment they're doing nothing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of that, the argument about equality is going wrong because the facts are not being told, but the truth is not being put out there, and so the less educated, and I'm not implying about educated in general. I'm just saying the less educated within the sport, they just think, oh, it's not fair that the men get all this. Okay, the men, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, they earn a lot of money because they win all the bloody time. It's like should the 200 in the world woman get the same as the 200 in the world guy? Actually, I'm almost certain that the 200 woman in the world is probably earning more than the 200 guy in the world. Think about that.
I bet Bouchard is earning more than whoever is 90 in the world in the men's.
100%. Okay? The simple fact is that there is an imbalance, but when you really sort of work it all out and you do the scales of everything, you'll find that the equality of pay is actually there or thereabouts, and there's an inequality on the guys' side that the guys are not earning as much as their female female counterparts are earning as well. They're earning more percentage than the guys. So It's an interesting one. We could go on and on and on and on and on. Please, if you've got anything to say, comment. Because
we will need some comments on this, I'm sure.
Yes, please do. Don't be one of these people who just sort of like messages me private. Put it in the group and put it out there. Do you think it's easy for me to turn around and start saying these? Because I have very good friends back home in the UK.
And we love women's tennis, by the way.
We're massive. We're massive fans of it. But the problem is that it's dare I say, it's like a certain other argument.
I'll bet you one thing. I bet you we're the only people talking about it.
Yeah, probably.
I bet you we're the only people who actually probably talk about it. And whether you like it or you don't like it, at least it's getting...
Well, actually, just very quickly. Coco Gauff.
Amazing.
Right. Just so you know, all you people, equal pay, etc. Guarantee you that 15-year-old girl is probably earning more money now than the number 20 guy in the world.
Oh, she'll be on $2-3-4 million contract a year, or easily,
probably in the top 10 guy. I'm just going to give an example. Not somebody like Nishikori, because Nishikori's obviously got the Asian market, but
Kevin Anderson.
Kevin Anderson. She's earning more than Kevin Anderson. He's been in 2 Grand Slam finals. Blah blah blah. He's at nearing the end of his career. I guarantee she's earning more money than him now. Equality.
But again, she hasn't been pushed. I know she's probably going back to the junior level, but even so,
she can play six big tournaments. By the way, I'd like to say fantastic. I actually really like the way she plays.
Oh, amazing.
Good all-court player.
Seems nice as well.
Seems like fun. Seems charismatic. Let's see what happens. Let's see, right? Because obviously she's young and charismatic.
What will the WTA turn her into?
Yes. Will they start giving her media training and stuff to make sure she doesn't say things inappropriate and so on and so forth?
Well, actually, I might start following her on Instagram and see the change.
I've started following her.
To modelling shoots and all this malarkey and whatnot.
There we go. Anyway, Steve, I think you've got to go and coach. I'm going to try and do a podders by myself on rackets.
Why couldn't you have done the one of higher quality by yourself?
Because I need to make sure that
spread out the hate.
Yeah. So I'll do the non-controversial ones, and then controversies will bring you in. Yeah. Thanks, guys, everybody, for anybody who's commented and stuff in the past. Is that nothing to say?
Just a nice smile will do, won't it?
No. Stephen will be back in the UK actually next month.
Next week.
End
of next week. 2 years. Been 2 years.
I might see if he's up near my brother.
I know. I was thinking that.
I might gamble it and see, can these guys try and do one themselves?
It'll be a gamble.
It would be a gamble.
Got a wedding to plan.
Why would she marry him?
Lucky girl. Yeah, Alicia.
Very lucky.
Thank you.
Toodaloo. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Take care.